If a robot develops emotions, should it be granted rights? No.
Emotions. That's a lot different than like, will it experience pain also? Because that ain't an emotion. Is it pain?
I don't think pain is an emotion.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Emotions.
pain. You can have pain.
Yeah, that's kind of tough. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like
that's a rough one. But I don't think it's an emotion. I wouldn't classify it as an emotion.
Okay.
I think an emotion would be like happy or sad. And while you're sad, yes, it's painful, but it's not painful in the sense of what I think pain would be.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you said no?
No.
Okay, if it has emotions. All right. So this would literally be. Do you believe the whole when the kids kind of say, "I didn't choose to be born"? Argument? Have you heard any of that?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
yeah.
Do you think that kind of validates anything in their arguments?
No. The only problem with
that's kind of
a robot developing emotions is
no. Chances are we would wait. Did it say develop or we give it emotions?
It develops. It says if a robot develops emotions, should it be granted rights?
But we created it, so technically, yeah. Okay, so it couldn't help that it did. So it came naturally to them.
Sure.
Okay, so that would be the same thing.
But it can't come naturally because a robot is made by a human. It's programmed and stuff. No matter what the algorithm it uses, is able to develop emotions over time. Mm-hmm. But I just don't think robots should be necessarily granted that because of the because they're built things. We're built, but we're built naturally by the earth.
Yeah.
And we develop, and you can't just like change everything with the snap of a finger.
Could you read that one more time?
If a robot develops emotions, should it be granted rights?
Okay, maybe rights of its own, if that makes sense. But I don't think it should tie into human rights, because what we experience and what the robot would experience, it'd be completely different, even if it has emotions or not.
Okay, well, let's look at self-replication, right? So self-replication. If you wanted to self-replicate,
okay,
you have to find a partner, and then you have to baby make, and then wait a long time for that thing to develop, and then it comes out, and then you feed it the programming, kind of like we do with robots. You raise the child, you teach the child, you show the child life.
Yeah.
And then it can go do that itself, but it's a process that takes time.
It's a process, yes.
Whereas with robots, let's say it did develop emotions, and it decided that it wanted to have kids, but it wasn't limited to, like, the world around it like we are. So it just builds 600 robot kids. Mm-hmm. And does it in a matter of 3 days. And now they all have emotions. But these decide they want to do that too. So it's a rapidly expanding issue that would overtake everything and then end up self-destroying. And that's why I think it shouldn't. I think it should. Robots are tools. They are not meant to be sentient.
Yeah.
That's just. And even if they do become that way, self-preservation's a really big thing, and that comes with emotions as well.
I was just gonna say, yeah, if it does have rights, it needs to be something outside of humans. That's all.
But what do you mean by rights then?
I do. Well, that's a good question.
Okay. So
I think we need to clarify.
Can we unplug it? Can we take its battery out? Because technically that'd be killing it. But if you're gonna give it rights, now you no longer have the right to disable it, because that would be killing it. And so.
Well, hold on. We kill our own, and there's rights that those people that we wind up killing have. There's limited rights, but they have. So maybe if they do something out of their jurisdiction where it is verified to kill them or reasonable to kill them, the same rights.
Okay, and who gets to decide that? Because we already see the problem with criminals. Criminals, they go commit crimes, they go to jail. We pay for them to live in jail. They get 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
They get to play with their buddies. They get to do whatever they want, really.
Yeah.
And we have to pay for that.
Okay. Well, I mean, what else do you expect to do?
I just don't think. Okay, yeah, with the way everything, with the rights, people they're all like, oh, these prisoners need rights. They can get better. They can reform. These prisoners.
Sure,
okay. Yeah. How many times have you murdered somebody? How many times have you robbed somebody?
It's just countless, man.
It takes a special kind of person to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And once you do it, you're a little ruined. Because now...
you're tainted.
You're tainted, exactly. And if you were able to do that in the first place, like let's just say out of cold blood, because I'm talking purely out of cold blood.
Okay.
Like, let's say you just go mug somebody, because why not? Because you didn't want to go seek help through the appropriate routes. You know, you affected somebody else there. And then now people are like, oh, you know, we can't have them on chain gangs. We can't have them out there making our infrastructure better. We can't make them work. You know, they just get to sit there and collect our money and just exist.
Actually,
and then they get free and then they do it again because there was no consequences.
Yeah.
There wasn't any real consequences. It was like, oh, okay, I can go do anything I want. And then I'm going to get to go sit in jail with a bunch of like-minded people and play chess and work out and play basketball and butt screw each other. You know, like...
That's the life, dude.
It's an easy life that's not fair because you got people out there that are doing right by society who get nothing. And they get forgotten.
Well, they do get something. They get to live their lives. Whereas, like... would you say time is the most precious thing? Would you say that? Your time is probably the most valuable thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, take away 20 years of your life. Would that devastate you?
Okay, why are we taking it away?
Because you're a criminal.
Okay, exactly, which means I took somebody else's time away. I went and stole something from somebody.
I agree, exactly.
I went and held that person at gunpoint and threatened to kill them in front of their child. Now that child has to live with that for the rest of their lives. They're scared of people. Now I have to live with... Now I'm scared to go to the grocery store because last time I went to the grocery store, I got mugged.
Uh-huh.
So now my time is forever affected because of your actions. So why should you get the free ride and easy stuff whenever... I never did those things. So why don't I get handed benefits? Why don't I get handed good things for being a productive member of society? I think we don't
work like that.
I think we should put criminals to work. I think that's what we should do, hands down. Make it not worth it to commit crimes. Do hard labor. Hard labor.
Some do. Some places do.
Not enough, and it's usually volunteer.
I agree.
It's usually volunteer.
Is it I didn't know that.
It's usually volunteer, and that's how they get out a little early, and that's how they get little privileges and stuff.
That's probably what I would do. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Just if you were a criminal? Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. I get the whole benefit. It's what I gather, it's cheaper to throw someone in prison for years than kill them. I've heard that. I don't get why.
See, I disagree. I mean, it costs $1 for a bullet.
No, I agree with that. That's not how we put down people nowadays, though. Isn't it the electric chair?
No, they don't do that anymore either. There might be a couple states that do, but capital punishment's pretty much gone out the window, and that happened, I would say, because of like the people who were wrongly put in prison. Who it turns out they didn't do something that they were convicted of. And I understand that to a certain degree, which is why I say more hard labor, work camps, stuff like that. It sounds communist as hell, I know. But I say more of like that kind of stuff.
Well, again,
as opposed to like straight murdering.
Though. It's supposed to be a punishment, not... And, I mean, communism, you could say that is a punishment.
True. So, okay, but how is it not a punishment to have to go work?
Wait, how is it not a punishment?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, I'm confused.
Okay, because, I would say as a prisoner that's having to do this manual hard labor.
Okay.
You don't get paid.
Yeah.
For this labor.
Yeah.
You are paying back society.
Yes.
With that labor.
Exactly.
So you are paying, what your work does is it pays for your cell, your food, the people that watch you, and then it gives money back to society.
Perfect.
To help people. So like, let's say let's say you robbed this person, and now you're working, and they're using that to make products and sell. The money from those products, after paying for what the prisoner costs, maybe they could use that to pay restitution towards the family members or towards the person who they did a crime to. You know, like let's say you armed rob somebody. Now you have to go work and make $20,000 for that person before you can be out. Okay,
so it's just all about money for you?
And it's not all about money, but it's the one thing that can make up for it. Because what do like you said,
wouldn't the best thing
time is the most valuable thing.
Yeah.
So why do we go to work? So we can make money.
Well, look, if you get
if you get money, then that saves you on your back end of having to work because time is money.
Yeah. Well, here, instead of just worrying about getting 20 $1,000 in that family's pocket, which I get it. You know, there's traumatizing situations. I don't want to dismiss that, but if you are doing a service that helps society as a whole, that isn't just one family. That's everyone benefiting, right?
Well, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the money,
Well,
it can go towards paying that person, but it also goes towards society as a whole in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it takes the burden of housing, feeding, and paying for people to watch the criminal
Yeah.
off of the taxpayers and
Yeah.
puts it on the criminals.
Yes.
So now the criminals have to pay.
Yeah.
And you can't just buy your way out of the situation through through just having cash through your criminal enterprise. You have to work the hours. You have to do the time.
Oh yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah. So you really like the whole communist kind of setup for the prison. You think that kind of worked
For
it?
criminals.
No, I agree.
Because
too.
they shouldn't. If
With
like
the whole
once
working
again,
off,
if you went up,
absolutely. Yes.
you haven't done anything like that to somebody. You don't, because you're a good person and you empathize and you can see that that's bad and you shouldn't do that.
Well, I do. I just
It
haven't
takes a
been caught
special person to do that,
yet. Yeah.
and you need that malfunction in your brain weeded out.
Some people can't get it weeded out. That's what you were talking about earlier, right? So then you just kind of stick to prison.
Yeah, you got the revolving door of criminals that they go to
Yeah,
prison, they
keep
get
going
out, and they
back.
go right back because they go commit crimes again. Like, but that's only because there isn't any real punishment. There's no real punishment there.
Well, I don't think people appreciate their time till it's almost out, you know, on average. So, like, these criminals are like, yeah, whatever. And then when they're 60 years old, that's when maybe it clicks like, oh, man, I can't do nothing now. This is it for me, you know.
Oh, okay,
to
okay. So
speak.
let's just say they were 20 when they committed the crime. They get out when they're 60, right? That's
Okay.
40 years.
Yeah.
That's 40 years.
Yeah.
And it costs a lot of money to house a prisoner. Like, let's just look at the average cost. real
Okay.
quick. Okay, so we're looking at about $37,000 a year per prisoner.
Oh, man, it's over, like, the average
That-
low house income.
Yes,
right?
exactly. So,
Yeah. Just wait to talk.
yeah, so that being said, like, we're looking at 40 years, man, 40 years that we paid to house this person just for them to finally come to the conclusion that, oh, maybe I should change. Maybe I should reform, you know?
It doesn't make sense that it'd be cheaper to keep them than take them out. You know what I mean?
So
I think.
that 40 years cost us $1.4 million.
Oh man.
So think about that. That
Plus
money,
how many prisoners we have.
that money that we're paying, you could use that for your family. Imagine all those times where you'd been like, man, I wish I just had $100 extra a week. Well, you might get that $100 extra a week if we'd have prisoners fucking paying for themselves.
That's a good point. Yeah, prisoners were like paying for themselves.
Because they
That's
obviously don't want to
interesting,
conform to society. They don't want to
Yeah.
be productive. They don't care. They don't care about others. They don't want to be functioning members of society.
Yeah. Do you believe in like if a person creates a heinous crime that we should like put them down? Do you believe in that?
This is a rough one.
Yeah.
It's a moral conundrum, and I only say that the capital punishment should be used on things that have been proven 100% without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, we have video footage, we have everything, there's no if, ands, or buts.
Yes.
None of the he said, she said stuff, none of the stuff where there's no video evidence or something like that. If it's going to be killing, then it needs to be without a doubt 100%. No
Yeah.
testimony, no jury, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, like the ones like where you see the videos of the people that just walk up and bap somebody.
Yeah.
That right there, instant done. You were proven without a doubt there. That's game over for you.
What if like the guy he shot killed his whole family or something? What's the moral
And that's
obligation
that's another one there.
It's-
That's a crime of passion.
Would that be jury decided?
No, a judge normally decides stuff like that.
Oh, okay, I got you. That's kind of tough though, you know. How would you feel if
I feel like it's justified.
sure, yeah, because all the pain you got to live with, you're
But at the
watching
same time,
your kids and
if our prison systems worked the way they should and everything, then people wouldn't feel the need to take that upon themselves because they know that justice would be had.
sure,
And they know that person repay their debt to society. Yes, it would suck. And yes, if you kill somebody in a crime of passion like that, maybe you should serve too, because you should have. The
Like,
system
been better.
is in place to work right. And if it works right, then you shouldn't have to do that. But the fact that you had to do that really shows that our system's a little out of whack, especially if it was an upstanding person in society, because we could look at background then too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh man, yeah, that's tough.
And this is why being a judge is fucking hard,
I
because
couldn't
there's
imagine,
those crazy scenarios out there.
Yeah, and and it comes down to you too, right?
It comes down to the individual, yeah.
No, I meant like to decide some people's lives sometimes. Man, that's, oh man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's rough.
That's what I was talking about.